Received a second comment from Lauren Tryon requesting an apology from the mayor and council regarding the resignation of Councilman Lundvall.
Thank you. Okay, now we are at public comments. If you come forward with what you'd like to say, we need your name, your address, and your ward number, please.
Thank you. Chris Smith, 802 Richards, Precinct 1-3. I'd like to begin by saying, what's that smell? Seriously, what's that smell? It is this entire council which smells something awful and impugned upon the peace and dignity of this city. I rise today to stand with my fellow citizens who agree that an unrighteous act has been thrust upon a fellow citizen. In the haste of this council's impressive acts of injustice to a now former councilman, I question the decision of this council to publicly display on their Facebook page photos, memes, etc., that they once deemed intolerable and grounds for removal of a fellow councilman. Yet now this council approves of these same photos or memes and agreeable on their dissemination in a shameful attempt to seek harm of a fellow citizen and shame a now former councilman. I believe that if the statement by now former Councilman Lundvall are true, and that he was in fact intimidated into resignation by the forceful tactics of Mayor Carter King and this council, I believe a crime has been committed, and it must and should be investigated by the county attorney. Where was the city's Facebook page informing the good people of Gillette why the then city council forced Mayor Murphy to resign? Double standards? Where was the city's Facebook page when the city appointed city judges who failed to retain a bond in accordance with state statute? It is acts like these that Mayor Carter King has had firsthand knowledge of and failed the citizens of Gillette time and again. Mayor King, it is time for you to resign for your complicit acts against a fellow citizen and this community. And members of this council, if the statements by now former Councilman Lundvall are true, then you must go as well for your complicity. A simple like on a Facebook page is not a crime. On a charging document, it said, and I know some of you have received one, it said, did violate the peace and dignity of the state, the county, or the city. No man, nor woman, nor Carter King is beyond justice. Mayor, it's time we take out the trash. Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Hello, I'm Renee Cunningham, and my address is 3218 Alberta Drive. I am a citizen of Ward 3, and I have many questions for the City Council. Some are not for this time. Some I might be able to resolve myself. And others deem a response from you all tonight. Over the last few years, And we have seen several people resign. And it's one thing to resign, but it seems to be a continuing pattern. And a lot of the information that we are given is secretive, or they decline to comment as to why they're stepping down, or they give obscure reasons. So when my councilman was blackmailed by the city to resign from his post, my question for you guys is, who made you judge and juror? Because I voted, because I wanted somebody to speak for me. You guys chose for me to remove somebody I thought would be my vote, my say, my voice within the city. That voice has been plucked away. And I didn't even get to hear why. You decided for me, and that's not okay. Then you decided who gets to come in and fill his role. So I no longer have a voice. I have one to everybody else's board who has two. And that one voice, I didn't even have a say in. How do I know that they represent me? I know that Shay represented me because I have an issue that I would like to be brought forward in the city. And I called to complain to my councilman about it. Shay was the only one to call me back. You have no idea how shocked and surprised I was to even receive a phone call. I did not expect one back. But he took the time and the effort to try and hear from me. That means something to me. I will be voting for him in November. But I should have never been having to force. I shouldn't have to come here and force you guys to make a good decision, because what you guys were claiming was not a crime, for one, thank you. But for two, you didn't prove anything. With the post that you showed, it didn't show what Shay believes. It showed a reaction on Facebook. Facebook only gives 3 views of what reactions are going on in your post. So it gives you the majority. So we don't still, as a people, don't understand if he liked a post, if he laughed at a post, if he loved the post, if he was shocked and horrified by the post. I don't know. And even if he did like it, who's to say that it wasn't an accident? Or who's to say he can't speak for himself? He wasn't given the chance because you guys played judge and jury. And that's not right. And the acts that you portrayed on Facebook, there are many crimes within that post. So would you like to continue on this path for Gillette, for Wyoming? Because if you step on Bob's rights to say what he would like to say, or Shay's rights to react on Facebook, you're treading a very slippery slope. How do I know that you won't come for me and what I believe? How do I know that you guys can be an independent voice for the people when you are clearly ready to attack its citizens? We cannot stand for this, and we will not stand for this. Mayor, you need to resign.
Richard Rolston, 13 Sunrise Lane, Gillette, Wyoming. I've just got some questions, and I know you won't answer here. You could do this on Facebook, being you're all enamored with social media. I'd like to see it. Take the time, think about what I'm going to ask you. Are you familiar with the First Amendment? And how tied in is social media to the Constitution? I think you're all taking this way, way, way too serious. And who are you going to replace Mr. Lungvall with? We'd like to know that. I'm sure there's somebody in the curtains, somebody in the wings that you've already chosen. and I'm sure everybody here would like to know that. Like I said, you don't have to answer it now. You're not going to, but I would like to see some kind of an answer for it. Because if not, you're all going to be gone. I mean, it's pretty apparent. So you might think about that. Thank you.
Carla Brandenburg. I have a home at 2503 Nogales Way in Ward 1. Mayor and council members, I was the Boys and Girls Club interim director a few years ago when the chairman of the board and myself were attacked, the same way that Shay was attacked by this mayor, the city administrator at that time, and the city council at that time. So I understand Shay's frustration and humiliation because Mayor Carter King makes you feel like you are a dirtbag of the earth if you don't follow her rules. When you were just trying to do the best that you can for the community, and that's what I was trying to do. And I've always done for this community, and I've done it for this community for 30 plus years. I will not get into my situation too much, but wow, there are a lot of similarities on how this went down, how I felt, and why I feel like I need to speak up now because I didn't then. I too was threatened with disgrace. And after the fact, it still happened. I was disgraced in a lot of ways. Thanks for fighting back, Shay. He did the right thing. He stood up for what he should have to stand up for, and he stood up for himself. I didn't, but I am today. I didn't fight back at the time, but I am here to inform the great people of this community that this mayor thinks it's perfectly fine to have as many meetings behind closed doors as she needs to get things done in her way. And yes, without the press. I know that for a fact because I was involved in 3 or 4 of those meetings where each meeting had a different council member in attendance with a mayor and administrator attending them. It helped to confuse the situation for the council because they only heard parts of the issue that they were accused of. And just to clear the air, none of those issues that were brought up at that time that we were accused of were proven true, accurate in any way. But I had enough, and I chose to resign anyway. The chairman of the board was forced to resign for the same reason Shay was. To illustrate to the council and the community that even the mayor puts thumbs up on messages, I would like to ask one of the officers, I don't want to approach them, that you give these to the council members so that you can see that even the mayor puts thumbs up on messages and then doesn't know how that happened. I've had messages between her and I about the situation I was involved in. And after a note from me, she puts a thumbs up. And when I asked her, what the heck does that mean? She said, I don't know how it got there. I say to Shay, thanks for being honest and taking responsibility for your actions. He put a thumbs up. He took responsibility. Our mayor didn't. I looked at the posts that are at issue here. And not only did Shay like those posts, but over 100 people liked those posts. Today there's over 200 likes, and I have a feeling some of that is because of what's happening right today. In fact, this particular page has hundreds of likes on most of his posts. So I'm thinking that most people are amused, probably more than anything, by these posts. The posts that this council has used in an attempt to ruin a good man's reputation. And that's what you've done. And I know a lot of you up there, and I don't think you meant to do that. But you have made him feel like dirt. I was made to feel like dirt. I wish Shay the best of luck in November, and I hope he takes his seat again in November. And I hope that the rest of you see, I know the mayor won't, but I hope the rest of you see to it, you all have an equal vote. Put him back in his chair. Thank you.
Bob Baumhoff, 3202 Knollwood Drive, Gillette, Wyoming. First of all, this is ridiculous, embarrassing, and shameful that I even have to be standing here. I don't want to be in your politics. You guys drug me here. But I will ask, is liking a Facebook post more serious than criminal behavior resulting in putting innocent people in danger, particularly DUIs? Was my name smeared in the newspaper and social media and not blacked out because this was about Shay and not me? If you have nothing against me, why did you call my family stupid hillbillies on the phone? Can you answer that? No? Didn't think so. Who's responsible for the violence that you guys have instigated against me? What happens if some of the death threats that have came towards me actually happened? Who's responsible for lost revenue to my business or job opportunities because you've slandered my name? Who's responsible for emotional trauma from being targeted by everyone in town that you've riled up? You think I enjoy hearing about this crap from every person I go everywhere in town? You should all be ashamed of yourselves, especially you, Tim. For the first time in my life, I do not feel safe living in Gillette. With you as mayor and the police in your back pocket, what's to stop them from further harassment and defamation of my name? It's obvious to the entire community you've chosen to target me. You've already had girls from your daughter's past write to the city about me. What's next? False rape allegations? The deeper I dig into you, the more corrupt things get, and the more worried I get. In trade for all you guys righting your political and ethical wrongs, I will not pursue any lawsuit against the city of Gillette. This town is my town. It's struggled enough. But if you choose to continue failing the people, I will take necessary measures. I personally think you should all resign.
Robert Bookout, former Ward 3, now Ward 2, 4207 Longhorn Avenue. I know some of you personally. I know a couple of you didn't mean for this, but you knew it was happening. I know one of you saw this happen to your own mother. At what point do our rights get stripped for your vendetta? I don't know why you have such a crush on this guy. But you've been after him for years. I wasn't even friends on Facebook with him or Shay up until a few days ago when I found out that something unjust happened. Hear me when I say if a Democrat got thrown off of here because of the same reason, I'd be here. Because I'm here for the rights of the people. I don't care about your past. But it is kind of awkward when you say you have a high standard, but yet you've committed far worse crimes. Mayor Carter King, you've extorted, I think, at least 5 people since you've been here for 6 years. I don't know at what point your parents went wrong, but they were phenomenal. And you have not followed in their footsteps. I'm certain they're disappointed in you. I challenge every councilman here. I'm terrified. I don't have something written down to talk to you about. I'm a church leader. I might not be anymore now. My wife and I own a business. We might lose a lot of patronage because of this. I might lose my job because I don't know who you have in your back pocket. You see, when we try to play fair against somebody who doesn't play unfair, we're terrified. And we feel backed into a corner sometimes. Mayor Carter King, what you did was illegal. And at this point, it's election meddling, and you knew that because he's trying to run again in November. I challenge every single council member here. You know what's right. I know she probably has something on you. But you owe all of us a public apology, and you need to renounce her quickly. She's in a ship that's sinking, and the waves of justice are coming crashing down. Get out, or none of you will have a political career again.
Anyone have anything more different to say?
Probably the same thing.
Well, if that's the case,
Chelsea Clem, 1802, Precinct 1-17. Each one of you are accountable to us. We voted you in. We are who you represent. Mayor Carter King, I pity you. I truly do. I imagine this is extremely difficult for you. But you represent us. And for some reason, somewhere along the way, you forgot that. Because you don't have that right to have someone taken off your city council because of Facebook posts. Yeah, I'm shaking like a leaf. I don't normally do this stuff. But Facebook? Come on. Are we on the middle school playground? What is this? You're an elected official. All of you are. You are held to a higher standard to represent us. If he likes something, if he laughs at something, if he's angry at something, I don't care. You've all done it too. If you don't have Facebook, good for you, because she can't come gunning for you. Because she will. You've done it time and time again. And yes, I can stare you down this way because it's the first time I've been able to do it. You know what you do to people. You know what, though? If God be for us, who can be against us? And you know what? God is for Shay Lundvall, and God is for Christians, and God is for conservatives. And we invited him into this chamber tonight. And you know what? You aren't stronger than him. None of you are. God will fight this battle. And we will be represented properly this next election season. Your battle is between you and the Lord. It's not between us. And I'm sincere when I say, I pray for you.
Dean Baumhoff, 3202 Norwood Drive, Gillette. And Shay was my representative, so Ward 3. And I think it's terrible what you did to him. Everybody's already pretty well voiced that. But I think it's terrible what you did to me and my family. And that's a bunch of garbage. And you should resign. And all of you, you go behind somebody's back when they're in the hospital. That's a bunch of crap. Oh, what's the matter with you? Go ahead. He's gone. Let's go ahead and get him out of here because the boss said that we got to stay in tune with the boss. What a bunch of crap. Leave. We'll get some new people in here. We have an election coming. All of you. If you can't stand up for yourselves, you follow her out the door.
looks like we are done with